Hello guys, how you all doing today? Welcome to Libra TV. Thank you so much for being here. So today's video we are going to talk about Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz contract in the UFC right now is over. It's over. So he's a free agent. He can go anywhere. He can go to the boxing. He can do whatever he wants to do right now. So his contract is over. He fought Tony Ferguson in the UFC. That was his last fight in the UFC 279. You know, people weren't expecting that. Even Nate Diaz came into the fight as an underdog. He's supposed to fight Hamza Chimaev, and Hamza Chimaev was overweight. And Tony Ferguson took the fight in a week notice or like a couple days notice, and he was training for a 3-round fight. And the fight actually was a 5-round fight. So yeah, if you're training for a 3-round fight, he came in. I don't know if he has all the information that he's going to fight Nate Diaz in a 5-round fight, but he lost. Actually, he lost. So Nate Diaz took the victory, and now he's a free agent, so he can go anywhere and fight anyone. Jake Paul was calling out Nate Diaz. He wants to fight Nate Diaz in the boxing ring. I'm not too sure how that fight would go, but we know Nate Diaz is a great striker. His last fight against Tony Ferguson was a good fight, and he got all the total strike and all the significant strike. And you know, during the fight, let's talk about the fight a little bit. Nate Diaz is a great striker. He's a great striker, and like his record is not the best record. He got 35 fights, 22 wins, 5 knockout, and 13 submission, and 4 decisions, and 13 losses. He got so much losses. It's crazy. But 22 wins is good. 22 wins out of 35 total fight is good. It's about 60-something%. But he lost 13 times in the UFC. His record is not the best, right? Leading up to the Tony Ferguson fight. Tony Ferguson came into the fight 26 victories and 8 losses, okay? You know, Nate was an underdog coming into the fight. You know, nobody thought Nate will win the fight, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's just a strategy shift. Tony Ferguson took the fight in a couple of days or weeks notice. And Hamza Chimaev haven't lost in the UFC before. And I don't know if UFC planned it. They want Hamza to fight Nate Diaz because they know that Hamza will beat Nate Diaz. Like, he can like, if he goes to the ground, if he goes standing up, Hamza can win the fight, right? But he pulls out. Like, he didn't make weight. Tony Ferguson took the fight and he lost. You know, the fight, Nate Diaz uses his striking well. You know, Tony Ferguson was more like going for the leg. He was chopping the leg a lot, and you know, it didn't go his way. Like, I think his coach told him to, you know, shoot for a takedown, and he listened to the coach and shoot for a takedown. And, you know, Nate Diaz went for a guillotine and he choked out, he tapped out, right? And that was a victory for Nate. So the big question right now is, what is next for Nate Diaz right now? What's he gonna do? Like, is he gonna sign a new contract with the UFC, or is he gonna go to the boxing? Because I heard today Bare Knuckle, the CEO, trying to sign Nate Diaz. They're trying to make a fight against Mike Perry, you know. And, you know, Bare Knuckle is not really a popular place for Nate to go, to be honest with you. But if the money is right, you know, in this fighting game, if the money is right, for sure, he's going to go and fight Mike. Nate right now is a free agent. He can do whatever he wants. Jake Paul wants the fight with Nate. You know, that would be a great fight, to be honest. Like, Nate and Jake Paul. I think Jake has been training like an animal. Like, for the past years, he's been knocking people out. He fought so many guys. He fought Ben Askren. You know, Ben Askren is not a great striker. He's a wrestler. He knocked him out. He knocked out so many people, man. Like, I think he got like 3 fights already in his record, all knockouts, right? So to fight Nate Diaz, I don't know. It will be a great fight for sure. I know Jake Paul has to fight Anderson Silva October 29th, and the win of that fight for sure. I think Nate might step in, but a lot of people don't think Jake Paul will win the fight against Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva is a legend in the UFC, but at the end of the day, he's not a boxer. Anderson Silva's last fight was great. Like, he really did well against Chavez. Anderson Silva is a great fighter. Like, even though he's old, like he's in his 40s right now, he looks tremendously good. Like, he's in a good shape. He can fight. He's a fighter, right? This is a big test for him, for sure. It's a big test for Jake Paul. If Jake Paul can pull that out, if Jake Paul can knock Anderson Silva out, Nate Diaz can step in. He can step in. We might see a fight towards the end of the year or beginning of next year. So now, will Nate Diaz sign a contract with UFC? I don't know. If he signed a contract with the UFC, we know Conor McGregor is out there. Conor McGregor can be that big money fight Nate Diaz is looking for. Nate and Conor McGregor 3 will be a great fight. I think Conor McGregor already pivoted that he wants to fight Nate. Nate's fight will be the biggest payday of Nate Diaz. Nate and Conor McGregor will be the biggest payday of Nate Diaz. So we would like to sign a contract with UFC. I'm sure UFC might maybe give Nate Diaz like one contract, like one fight contract, or we go out there and fight KSI, might be Jake Paul, whatever. So I think it's a gamble, to be honest. As a chess player will gamble the best option. Nate Diaz is a free agent right now. For me, I think Nate might sign one more contract with the UFC, maybe a trilogy with Conor McGregor, because that's a big payday. Conor McGregor, we don't know if he's coming back this year. If he fights and maybe get a victory, probably we might be seeing Nate and Conor McGregor. But if Conor McGregor lose again, because he lost his last fight, against Dustin Poirier, if he lose again, his career might be over. Even right now in the ranking, he's kind of dropping, and nobody thinks Conor McGregor will win another fight. So we don't really know how these things will play out. But I think Nate, if I'm Nate, I'll sign one more contract to the UFC. Maybe not right now. Maybe go out there, maybe have one boxing fight if he get a victory, or maybe wait for Jake Paul and Anderson Silva. Whoever that wins the fight, you might analyze and figure out like if you have to fight Jake Paul or if you have to sign another contract with the UFC. I don't think that's a rush right now. He just came out from a good fight with Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, he's a legend. Like, Tony Ferguson, he's a legend. Like, I can remember he was trying to fight Khabib. But the fight never happened. Like, they tried. The fight, for some reason, there's a lot of problems. I don't know, maybe it's a karma or something. Like, I think the last one was Tony's leg was broken. Like, he couldn't fight. He couldn't have the fight with Khabib. But Tony is a legend, and he's ranked. He's ranked right now in the UFC. But Nate Diaz is not ranked. I don't know. Maybe UFC took him out because his contract is over. Like, there's no point putting Nate right now on the rankings. And so that's it, man. So what do you guys think, man? Will Nate come back to the UFC and fight Conor McGregor, or should Nate just go out there and have a boxing fight with Jake Paul, or find all these YouTube boxers, the KSI or whoever? So thank you so much for watching, and thanks. And I will see you guys later. Make sure you subscribe. Thanks. Bye.